The Galactic Council chamber had never been so silent. Across the vast circular hall, representatives from 47 star systems sat frozen in their seats, their various forms of breathing apparatus creating the only sound, a collective wheeze of disbelief. At the center of the chamber, the humans' delegation seats sat empty, their name plaques still glowing with a soft blue light that seemed to mock the remaining delegates. Ambassador Zix of the Vegan Confederacy was the first to break the silence, her crystalline form crackling with nervous energy. "They actually did it," she whispered, her voice resonating through her mineral body like wind through caves. After 300 years of negotiations, they simply left. The empty human seats seemed to loom larger than they had moments before. Dr. Sarah Chen and her diplomatic team had walked out without ceremony, without the traditional formal withdrawal protocols, without even the courtesy of a closing statement. They had simply stood, gathered their data tablets, and departed while Ambassador Throckan of the Centauri Republic was mid-sentence about mining rights in the Outer Rim. High Chancellor Vorthak, whose species had evolved from apex predators on Kepler 442b, felt something he rarely experienced: genuine fear. His scaled hide rippled with involuntary muscle contractions as he processed what had just occurred. The humans weren't just another member species, they were the mediators, the ones who somehow made sense of the galaxy's endless conflicts. What exactly triggered this? Chancellor Vorthak's voice boomed across the chamber, though it carried an uncharacteristic tremor. Ambassador Gron, of the Silicon-based collective, accessed the session recordings through his neural interface. His mechanical voice scraped across the chamber's acoustics as he replayed the final exchange. "The Andorian Trade Syndicate demands exclusive access to the Proxima shipping lanes," Throckan had declared, his tentacles weaving through the air in traditional Centauri emphasis patterns. Denied, the Andorians had responded in unison, their hive mind making their rejection absolute. "Then we invoke Article 47 of the Galactic Commerce Accords," Throckan had counter-declared. It was then that Dr. Chen had stood up. No dramatic gestures, no impassioned speeches. She had simply said, "We're done here," and led her team toward the exit. The implications began to dawn on the remaining delegates like a slow-moving stellar collapse. For 3 centuries, whenever the galaxy's myriad species reached an impasse, which happened roughly every 43 minutes, the humans somehow found solutions. They didn't have the Betazoids' telepathic abilities, the Vulcans' pure logic, or the Trill's accumulated lifetimes of experience. What they possessed was something far more mysterious and valuable: the ability to make everyone else compromise. Without human mediation, how do we resolve the Deneb situation? Ambassador Zix's crystalline form had turned a darker shade of blue, indicating deep concern among her people. The Deneb situation was typical of the galaxy's intractable problems. 3 different species claimed the same system, each with legitimate historical precedent, each willing to fight, none willing to share. For decades, the humans had managed to keep all parties talking instead of shooting. Or the Rigel water rights, added Representative Kell of the Aquatic Worlds, her environmental suit bubbling with agitation. The Tau Ceti territorial disputes, the great recycling wars of the outer spiral. The list grew longer as each delegate realized how many seemingly impossible situations the humans had been quietly managing. They had become so accustomed to human intervention that they had forgotten how to resolve conflicts themselves. Chancellor Vorthak activated the chamber's emergency protocols. Within moments, the massive doors sealed shut with a resonating clang that seemed to echo the finality of the humans' departure. "We need to understand why they left," he declared. "Access all communications from the human delegation over the past galactic standard year." The chamber's AI began processing terabytes of data. What emerged was a pattern of increasing frustration in human communications that none of the other species had noticed. Dr. Chen's reports to Earth had grown progressively shorter and more cynical. Her private messages to her team spoke of kindergarten diplomacy and species that refused to grow up. The breaking point, the AI revealed, had come not during today's session, but 3 months ago, during the Great Sandwich Incident. The Glorbian Empire and the Tellurite colonies had engaged in a 6-week standoff over whether a particular food item should be classified as a sandwich or a wrap, as this classification would determine trade tariffs worth billions of credits.
The humans had spent 42 days mediating this dispute, ultimately crafting a compromise where the item would be classified as a sandwich wrap hybrid with seasonal variations. Both sides had accepted this solution, praised human wisdom, and then immediately began arguing over what constituted a season on different planets. They left because we're children, Ambassador ZYX said quietly, her crystalline structure now a deep shade of purple that indicated shame among her people. We're a galaxy of children who never learned to solve our own problems. The chamber fell silent again as this truth settled over them like cosmic dust. For 300 years, they had relied on human ingenuity, human patience, and human stubbornness to navigate their differences. The humans had become the galaxy's parents, and the galaxy had never learned to grow up. Outside the chamber, the human transport ship Compromise engaged its quantum drives and disappeared into fold space, carrying its crew back toward a small blue planet in a minor spiral arm. Dr. Chan sat in her quarters, writing her final report. Species of the galaxy display remarkable intelligence in all areas except conflict resolution. Recommend they be allowed to develop this capacity independently. Humanity's continued intervention appears to inhibit natural diplomatic evolution. We will monitor from distance but will not return to active mediation unless specifically requested and evidence of maturation is provided. As the ship carrying humanity's diplomatic mission disappeared into the vastness of space, 47 star systems suddenly found themselves alone at the table, forced for the first time in 3 centuries to learn the hardest lesson of galactic citizenship: how to talk to each other without someone else doing the talking for them. The galaxy watched in terror, but perhaps it was time to grow up.